Welcome back to my channel. Jaki Sabourin here. In today's video, I want to cover how to spot red flags. Now, you might spot a red flag and wish it was just a small drawback, not an indication of something bigger. But when you ignore red flags and things don't work out, you feel badly about yourself, and that's really unhealthy for you. You don't think about the guy or feel bad about, the offensive things he did or how he was disrespectful. You blame yourself for choosing him or not ending it sooner. And so I want to go over my pet peeves, my 3 top red flags, which I hate when I see it in men. I hated it when I was dating, and I still have a problem with it. So let's jump in for my 3 red flags. So the first one is being flaky. Building trust is essential in a relationship, and you need to be able to depend on each other. But if he's flaky, it's going to be impossible. For example, maybe he doesn't call you back when he says he's going to, or he cancels right before the date. That is unacceptable. Or he ghosts you online or offline. Maybe he doesn't respond to texts over the weekend, or maybe you want to watch for his behavior. Is he blowing off his friends or blowing off work? And he does it pretty cavalier, like easily. It's easy for him to like reschedule constantly. And I remember one of the biggest things about my first marriage is that I couldn't depend on my husband, and he was really flaky. And you never hear me talking negative, but I want to use this as an extreme example. But I knew this in the beginning, and I ignored them, and I blamed myself. So I want you to avoid that pitfall if possible. Now, we lived on an island where it's hard to get Christmas trees, and you have to buy them as soon as they're available. Otherwise, you may risk not having a Christmas tree. And we had a little rental property where I would stay at during the week when my children were going to school in that area. And I had bought a tree and decorated and looked really beautiful. And my husband, when I was married at the time, was supposed to get a tree for our house and have that ready so we can decorate. And he kept putting it off, being flaky. And guess what happened? You could probably guess where this is going, right? Well, nothing happened. That's the thing. It was really painful for me and the children come Christmas Eve not to have a Christmas tree. Of course, he got the tree from the other house and brought it down, but still, that flakiness created a lot of stress and uncertainty, where we didn't need, we shouldn't have had to deal with that. Let me just put it that way. So that's why I'm really passionate about sharing these red flags with you. Don't tolerate a man that's flaky. As soon as he's flaky, the first indication, next him. Just kick him to the curb, because again, it's going to be really painful down the road when you have to embarrassingly, is that a word? Explain to somebody why he didn't do X, Y, Z, or why you're still sitting there alone, etc. So take that one to heart. So it's a big one for me. Now, the next big one for me, the next red flag for me, is bringing up his ex. Gosh, I can't stand it. And I know that you can't stand it too. And I know that sometimes it's easy to get caught up in a relationship about an ex. Believe me, I've been there. I get it, especially when I was first going through my divorce. In fact, I met somebody who was going through a divorce also. And so we pretty much talked about it nonstop, but that was the relationship. That wasn't the relationship that I was intending to build, a committed relationship like I have with Michael. And I would never have done that when I was in that place. So if you're going through a divorce or a separation, you can talk about your ex all you want with somebody who maybe is going through the same thing. However, if you're dating and you're bringing it up with the man you're in a date with more than the typical exchanging, why did you get a divorce, etc. It's really going to show you that he has a lack of self-awareness, and he's unable to take responsibility, especially if he's being really derogatory about his ex, or consistently brings it up, or she used to do that, or she used to do this, or she didn't do that, she didn't do this. I mean, for me, that's just, like I said, lack of self-awareness, lack of ability to take responsibility. And if they're doing that now, how much comparing and other things could be going on while you're dating that are going to be really uncomfortable for you, and I don't want that for you. Now, the last one is another one of my top red flags that I really watched out for when I was dating, and continue to do so in all my relationships, and that's being too rigid or inflexible. Now, I think that this is a sign that you could be dating an abuser, someone who hides in plain sight. Typically, these men are extremely charming and charismatic, and it can really camouflage and hide this controlling behavior. So what you're looking for is men that are, obsessed or preoccupied with rules, neatness, orderliness, a need for perfection. And as you know, we're all perfectly imperfect. But when you are dating a man that is expecting perfection, you are always going to be coming up short. And there's just no such thing. And it's too much pressure on you. And I just find that any controlling, intolerant, or inflexible men, is just makes it very hard for you to relax and be in the moment and go with the flow, which is what we all are striving to do, right? Which bring more mindfulness and more presence to our life. And so they can also be jealous or suspicious. So watch out for those traits. Now, you can't force a man to change. Change has to come from within. Also, the problems that you might notice, or these flags you might notice in the beginning of the relationship, is going to amplify them itself, the flag, as the relationship deepens. And that's why I really want you to have healthy boundaries when it comes to these red flags. They're just not going to serve you in the long run. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring that little bell so that you receive notices when I am releasing another video. And I just want to ask you, please post comments in the comment box. Share with me the red flags, things that didn't work out for you when you thought they would, and why. I would love to hear from you. Also, if you have any suggestions about topics for the videos I make, I really love to make videos that are relevant to what you're going through, the challenges you're facing, so I can bring a little more ease to your life, to your dating life, and to your relationships, and so you can have the success that you all deserve and long for. Okay, we'll see you in the video next week. Bye-bye.